As I was thinking about what we are doing, it really is an opportunity for people to connect with their beingness. We are not conscious of the compartmentalization. We just say, this is who I am, right? Who you are is different depending on the environment that you find yourself in or the people that you find yourself connected with. So I hold myself out as an example. At 71 years old, it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey to self-acceptance. And I think it may be that way for many of us, that we look at the pieces of ourselves and decide, I can show that. No, I can't show that. Is there a danger? How deep is the danger if I show you all of me? Oh, I can show these people this part of me, and these people this part of me, and these people this part of me. And then the question is, how long before you get tired of just compartmentalizing your beingness?
Hello, everybody. What's going on?
Hey.
Welcome to the late night happy hour with Carrie Irene and DrSue, where
Hey,
what
hey.
comes out.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. I hope everybody has had a terrific Friday. TGIF, Happy Chinese New Year to everyone that is celebrating. How's everybody's weekend going? How's your weekend starting off, DrSue?
Hey.
Hey. Hey.
I'm in a silly mood today. And I think it's because I got some rest, because I wasn't in a silly mood earlier. But I always get so excited when we come on, and I never know what's going to come up. So I'm excited about it. And yeah, it's going to be a great weekend.
Yes, it is going to be a great weekend. We're off to a good start. We both smiling and going and giggling and going on. So
Okay, Irene, I see you're coming to us live from the presence of your
bed. I was like, I am going live from bed tonight because I do not feel like moving all my stuff from here to there, because I do it all the time. I'll take it upstairs, then I'll bring it to the kitchen table, then I'm bringing it here, and then I'll sit in the living room, and I'm all over the place. Sometimes I'll be on the back porch. I'm like, no, I'm not dragging all these cords around tonight. So this is where it's going to be tonight, and it is what it is. Look, whatever comes up still gonna come out. So
come out. So you had an exciting day today, huh?
I did have an exciting day today. I had a job interview today. I had a job offer today. I actually kind of had two job offers, because one of the places, it's funny because I had the interview a couple of days ago with one company, and then today when I had the interview with the other company, I was like, well, I just want to be transparent. I am interviewing with another company that I'm considering. And so the lady I interviewed with before, this guy told her, and she immediately calls me. She's like, well, we want to offer you the job right now. I was like, and I think this is the offer that I'm going to take. But I'm like, I still want to honor their time. The interview's already scheduled on Tuesday. I don't want to call me like, oh, I'm just going, whatever. I want to make sure that I do my due diligence as well,
Absolutely.
But I don't want to just grab the first thing that's shining, Grand day. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. As we talking, please join in the conversation with us. Tell us where you're watching from, Sister Angelique. Are you in LA tonight? Are you somewhere else tonight? You kind of like me. Sometimes you pop up and we don't know exactly where you're at. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, and you know, a good thing about this company, and one of the reasons why I'm leaning this way is because I've been so transparent with them about my goals, what I want. I've already told them I'm gonna be speaking in Vegas in April. I'm gonna be speaking in the UK in June, and I have a cruise set scheduled for October. If this isn't something that can be done, I really don't want to commit because these are things that I've already put money into, and they're booked, and I'm going. And she was like, "We'll work with it. We'll work around it. You know, that's fine. You know," she's like, "You can split your vacation however you want. Just lump your days off together, however you need to do it." So, and it's good to feel wanted and feel valued,
Yeah.
like, you know. So, yeah, it's been a good day, and I made me a banging black bean taco and quesadilla.
Oh, that
Hands
sounds
down.
so good.
It's so good. I've grilled um, green peppers, orange peppers, and red onions, and I chopped them up in a little fine thing. It was almost like a grilled pepper salsa, and then I chopped up jalapenos in there with it. Put it on the black beans. Had sour cream. I had red salsa and verde salsa. I'm talking about I ate good
I
today.
want some. I want some.
And I like toasted the burrito wrap and everything. Oh, it was so good with pepper jack cheese.
Oh
It
my
was
goodness. Wrap it up, put it on ice, and you can overnight it. It can be here in a couple of
I
hours.
got something to send you anyway, and it's already boxed up and taped up and everything. I just gotta put a link,
Just
stick
open
it,
the box and put some.
stick it on in there, put a little dry ice in there. Yes, yes, yes. She's like, yeah, she need to share.
That sounds so good. I made black bean stew. I wanted a stew yesterday. I don't cook, y'all. Every now and then I will grace the kitchen with my presence, okay? So
Grace.
so yesterday I wanted to grace the kitchen with my presence, and I made it's a soup, but I wanted it to be heartier. So I had black beans and onions and peppers. I had some sweet potatoes. I kind
Okay.
of sauteed some sweet potatoes in there, and I put a couple of other things in there. But here's the thing, and I've never in life had this happen before. There was kind of a bitter taste to the soup. So I had to Google it, and they said that it could be several things. It might be the onion that I didn't peel off enough of the outer layer. I peeled
Well,
off
what
the outer
kind of
layer.
onions did you use?
Red
White,
onion,
red
red.
onions.
I like the red
That could do
onion.
it. That could do it. And because that spice will turn to bitter if it's not rendered separately. A lot of times with red onions, you want to cook it separate and
Oh,
caramelize it and then add it to it. And you can add the oil and everything in there, but it's a different taste if you cooking it with something. It's
uh-huh.
chemistry. Cooking is chemistry,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
way
yeah.
things mix.
That's
Yeah,
exactly what happened because I cooked them with mushrooms as opposed to cooking them by themselves.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
but
and
it's
you know
okay
the good. What
what
else
my
did you cook with it? In the mushrooms, onions. That was the only thing you cooked together.
no, well, yeah, that was the only thing I cooked together.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's good.
Um, and then I had I didn't cook them all the way, but I cooked the sweet potatoes. Cut them in cubes and cooked them on the stove, and then I put them in because I didn't want it to be mushy. I wanted it to be
Yeah,
a
yeah,
hearty stew.
yeah.
But you know what my son said, "Mama, just put a little hot sauce on it."
Yeah, all right. I see. I'm a firm component of that. Sour cream or hot sauce can cure almost any bitterness or taste.
So we had
Yeah.
some brown rice. So I put my brown rice in there and put some of my
Yeah,
little stew in there, put some hot sauce on it.
yeah.
I'm
Throw
just
it up,
saying,
Piggy. Throw it up.
good to go, good to go. But I will keep
Nice.
it in mind next time not to cook my onions and mushrooms together.
Yeah, yeah. It is what it is. And you was eating good. That's all that matters. You was eating good.
As I said, grace in the kitchen with my presence.
Yeah, yeah. I love cooking. Cooking is fun to me. It's therapeutic to me. It's relaxing to me. It's peaceful to me. I like dancing around. Either sometimes I have my music on, sometimes I have like a book on, or I have Abraham Hicks on. It Angelique seen me working in the kitchen. I feel like I go to a different place.
Yeah.
It soothes my soul. It always has. I've been cooking since I was a kid, like a small kid. You know, I remember making pancakes for everybody in the house, or I make stewed tomatoes for everybody in the house. But yeah, I like cooking.
Yeah.
It's my
So
thing.
cooking takes you to another place. I have to go to another place in order to go in there and cook, right? And it sounds funny, but it's funny, but it's true. In that when I go, I wake up and it's like this other person takes over. And without thinking, this other person goes in the kitchen and cooks.
And all of a
And
sudden you're
she
cooking.
enjoys it while she's doing it, but this other person doesn't show up every day. It's like
Gotcha.
it's almost like my spirit says, "We cooking today," and I say,
Gotcha.
"Okay, what we
Gotcha.
cooking?"
Yeah, yeah. See, I cook almost every day. Something. Like today I
Mm,
cooked twice. I cooked breakfast and I cooked lunch, which is really
mhm.
dinner. I usually only eat twice a day. But yeah, I like cooking. Sometimes I cook 2 or 3 times a day, depending on like if Monique gets home,
Ooh.
she wants something, whatever. Whatever. I
When
just
I was growing up, I come from a very big family, so there were 10 of us in our family. And when I was growing up, my mom would go to work and she would tell me what to cook before she went to work. And so by the time she got home, the food had to be ready to go on the table. Uh,
oh
and she
well.
would get home around between 6 and 6:30. Now my brothers all played football, big guys,
Uh-huh.
and we used to cook. I would cook these little. They're like little pancakes, but we call them compones, right?
Huh?
Little.
Huh?
And so I would have a stack of them like yay high. Let's say about 8 inches tall. I would have, and my brothers would come through after football practice, and they would literally run through the kitchen and grab the bread off the plate, and then I would have to start cooking all over again because I couldn't say to my mama when she got home that I was starting to cook. It had to be ready. And from the time I was about 8 and could stand on a stool, I was cooking. When I got to be 18, I said, I am not cooking anymore.
You said I'm over it.
For years and years and years, I said, when I get to the point that when I get home and I don't have to cook, I ain't cooking no more.
You like
And so,
it's a done deal, huh? It's over with.
yeah. So every now and then I want to cook, but in general, no. I used to say I could have a house that didn't even have a kitchen.
What? No way.
I don't even need one. I just, like right now we got a little galley kitchen, and that is, I know people want these big kitchens. I don't want a big kitchen. It would just be wasted on me.
Oh
A big kitchen is for
no.
somebody like you who loves to cook. Me, what I
Yes.
got is just enough space for me to get in there, do what I'm gonna do, which I ain't gonna be in there long, y'all. I'm just saying.
You like, and I ain't gonna listen. Monique told me the last time I asked her about if she was hungry. She said, "I'm learning you. When you ask me if I'm hungry, it doesn't matter if I'm not hungry at all. I have to say yes because it takes me 3 hours to I take my sweet time. I touch things that don't need to be touched. I'm chopping stuff so evenly and fine, like
Oh
everything's
gosh.
the same shape.
Uh-uh.
I love it. I love the process.
Wait. Did you say the same shape?
Yes, like today when I made my peppers, my green peppers, red peppers, and my red onions and jalapenos were all the same exact size cube. Yeah.
OCD-ish. Just
Huh?
a little OCD-ish.
Maybe a little. Maybe a little. But only when it comes to cooking. Because if you see the corner of this room over here, you be like, well, you need to transfer that from the kitchen to your room. And I'm like that with a lot of stuff, and that's like, that is some of the characteristics of being of ADHD, ADD, all those things. Is
Uh-huh.
that when it's messy, it's extremely messy, but when it's neat, it's extremely neat.
Right, 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 right,
It's like once it
right.
get out of control, it's way out of control. But once it gets to that point, like when I get stuff together, oh, it is exact.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not too much in between.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, not too much.
All
So, if
right, ladies. So,
anybody out there in the congregation want to throw a topic out, anything energetically that you guys have been thinking about, pondering about, conversations that you've been a part of that's been sticking out lately? Anything coming up for you, Dr. Seuss? Since we've been talking
let's see if
earlier.
they've got anything because we can always come up with something.
Oh, you already know. Shoot, we already done talked 16 minutes about food. I should have brought me a snack in here. Oh,
Well,
go ahead, go ahead.
if nobody has anything, I was telling you before we came on, I was talking about how I spent my day and the that ambivalence, maybe that's the word, but that going back and forth between knowing that I had to do something and feeling guilty doing it, but not doing it, right?
Yeah,
And so as I was thinking about it, I thought, I think my spirit just needs to rest.
yeah,
So what I would talk about is when it's your body knows what it needs, but there is something beyond the body that sometimes we can't override it. Because you can override the body. I through my experience, my life experiences, I know that the body can withstand a lot.
yes,
And the mind can take you into that space and hold you and support you and keep you there as long as it knows that there is an end date. It will support you in that way. But
right,
when the spirit steps up and says, I need a break, I need some downtime, I need some me time, I need for you to be attentive to me, I have not yet been able to ever override that. My mind will tell me you need to do certain things. Well, uh, I'm looking at all these papers on my desk, all
same.
working on my webinar, working on where you at, Carrie? I don't know where she went, y'all. There she is. But I'm working on the webinar, working on the group thing that you and I are doing, and I know that I have to get it done. And I've started, and I got working on the business. But my spirit today said, you're not doing any of that. And I sat down at this computer multiple times. It just didn't happen for me. It just did not. And finally, I thought, I'm just going to go and watch a movie. And watching that one movie turned into two movies, turned into three, turned into a series. But here's the thing, all the time I'm watching, I've got this voice going on in my head saying, but you need to be over at that computer. You got this to do. You got that to do. Oh, and you got the Friday Night Live coming up tonight.
Right.
I get all excited about that. So that's never a stressor. But I kept fighting. And then finally, this was all day. And so finally around 3:30 or 4, I thought, you have wasted the whole day. And here's the thing. It wasn't that I didn't do anything. It was that I spent the whole day in my head so that I didn't enjoy, I wasn't present.
Right.
And so the point that I'm making for myself, and perhaps just kind of seeing where you are with this, if I was going to not do anything, I just should have said, okay. So
I ain't
after I
doing
sat
that.
down at the computer a couple times and it just didn't work, I just should have said, okay, so I'm taking today. And I should have
Right.
taken it and relished it and just really enjoyed every moment of it, being fully present in it, as opposed to being in the conversation in my head, which was saying, you know, you need to do this, you know, you need to do that. And I think so often our our negative voice will attempt to override what the spirit is saying. And in this case, for me, the spirit was just too strong. The spirit finally said, y'all need to zip your lip because it ain't happening.
Yeah.
So from that point on, I just enjoyed the movies.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. Uh-huh. You know, that goes to show one of the things that I have come to find of myself, many times when we are people, and this is something that Angelique just mentioned, is being of service.
mhm,
Many times we get in this colossal hamster wheel of the space in between being and doing, right? Being of service and doing the service. Being of service and doing the service. You know, it sounds almost like the same exact thing, but it's not necessarily the same thing. And in order for us to be the service, it's just like anything else in the doing of the service. You have to have maintenance. Any car that's doing something, it can be the best car ever, but if you don't take care of a brand new car, it will
yeah,
cut off on you. If you don't gas it up, if you don't get an oil change, if you don't make sure the tires and tire pressure is right, if you don't make sure the fluids are there, brake fluid, antifreeze, water, freon, all the things.
yeah,
Whenever we are being of service, we have to realize that we are also the service that is doing the service. So
yeah,
we have to be serviced in order for us to continue in the being of the service.
right.
And sometimes when we pull over on the rest area, we're thinking, you know, that maybe we're there too long. But in really, the thing is we should be there as long as we're going to be there, because it's just somewhere we do have to be eventually, and for an unpredicted amount of time sometimes. You know,
Mhm,
whenever I was pretty much in transition back and forth, and even though I was staying here and there, I was technically homeless about what, two and a half, 3 years ago. I had somewhere to sleep, but none of them were mine, you know. But I
mhm,
would pull over sometimes just to get some rest when I was on my way from one place to the next. And sometimes we don't necessarily feel like that's quote unquote safe because it's not familiar territory for us. And a lot of us that are in the area of being of service, as we be the service, because we are the service, we feel it odd when we have to turn that service onto ourselves. We really do. That includes naps. That includes there. At one point, I had to put alarms on my phone to eat because I was
mhm,
so stuck in the routine. I gotta get this done. Gotta get this edited. I gotta send this. I gotta do these emails, and then I gotta run to the post office, and then I gotta come back, and then I gotta get my meditation in. Like, we still be taking care of ourselves sometimes, you know. I still gotta get my meditation in, or I gotta do my stretches. I gotta go work out, but we ain't a damn thing.
yeah.
Ain't nothing. Ain't took no nap. Ain't get no sleep. Ain't took no bath. And we have to, in order to be of service, we have to recognize we are the servicer. So we too have to be serviced. And sometimes I ain't doing that, don't do nothing today. But in that space, like you said, we have to realize that we are in that space of being serviced. We're not doing nothing. We're in a moment of being serviced.
And I think for me, one of the things that's so deceptive in terms of how it shows up is that the work I do, I love what I do.
Right.
And I'm always doing it. And because it doesn't feel like work, then I don't think about, well, you haven't given your brain a rest. You haven't given your body a rest. You haven't move your body the way you need to move it in order to keep it energized, you're just, and it's not, I don't even know how to explain it, but I think when you were speaking, I had the aha realization that when I find myself saying, I gotta, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That means that I have too much stuff going on, and it is an opportunity. It's like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and when I look around and like my desk is cluttered like it is today, then that also is an indicator that there's something going on within me that I need to pull up, pull up and
Yeah.
just check it out, give myself a rest, and clean up my desk, which is the equivalent also of cleaning up what's going on inside of me.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I
represented.
just had some real that's a huge realization.
It is.
Yeah, I'm gonna be working on this.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. It is a realization. I think that is a lot of times why I love to cook. A lot of times I describe life and options as cooking because it's one of the things that I reference all the time. In life, as we go through life, our cabinets and everything inside our cabinets and within the kitchen are all the things, the lessons, the affirmations, the memories, the hurts, the pain, all those things is almost like all of our resources. But everything that's there doesn't always have to be used. Just because you have it there, you don't necessarily have to use it. And I think especially people who are in service and loves what they do, we have so many tools in our toolbox that sometimes we feel like we have to use everything every time. So because we're so talented and we have such a wide scope of resources that we can use, a lot of times we want to use a lot of things at one time. And that's why a lot of our things get cluttered because we got 15 notebooks, because we got 15 thoughts going on. We got
Stop
15
talking about
programs,
me.
15 programs going on, 15 coaches for each program that we got, and we have so much stuff that we know for sure work. But just because I know pepper, salt, paprika, cumin, whatever, all the seasons, they're all good. But put them all in one dish and you tell me if you'll be able to stomach it. No, and I don't encourage, compartmentalizing who you are, but I do believe in discernment. And we have to sometimes hold back on the spices of life in order to get that recipe just right for what we're doing
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
Just think about what you're doing right now. What is the recipe for this right now? It doesn't mean you have to discard all the things that you have and just work with what you need.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Remember, never rest your hands on your face. It invites tension straight to your mind. Stay relaxed and grounded.
Thank you. I've gotten so comfortable doing that. Okay, now I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do with my hands, because I don't know what to do with
Tell
my
me,
hands.
tell me what to do.
Okay, I'm gonna have to work on what to do with my
Oh,
hands.
goodness gracious. That's funny. That's funny. But yeah, and that's so good because we all do that in one aspect of another at times. We just have to be more cognizant of what's actually going on at any given time, which is why self-awareness is so important.
Yeah,
We spend so much time outwardly focused for good reasons because there's a lot of distractions out there.
yeah,
But we got to realize that the things that are out there would not be able to be seen if what was inside wasn't working.
yeah.
Nothing on the outside exists without first the inside working. I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with
I'm
my
gonna
hands.
sit on my hands.
What
I,
movie
I used
was
to
that
tell.
in, Angelique? I know you probably know. I don't know what to do. It was it was like some show. He was just like, it was Will Ferrell, I think. He was just like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
I tell my students when they're taking tests, before when you sit down before you start to write, which is that initial instinct is to start answering questions, sit on your hands and breathe, right? So I'm going to sit on my hands.
Sit on him.
Gotten so used to putting them up to my face. Okay,
Oh
our
my goodness,
energy.
that's hilarious. Keep smiling. This energy that radiates positive light. Yes, it does. But yeah, so what else? What avenue were you talking about, Angelique, when you were talking about being of service? And how are you being of service right now, Angelique? We'd love to hear that, and you as well, Teresa. Let us know how you are being of service, and if there's any topics that you'd like to talk about or bring up today. Um, I think I'm in this space of creation. I'm working on the chakra guide that I have for the chakra protocol is what I call it. Um, and I'm realizing so much in how interconnected everything really is. Like down to just the herbs that grow in different regions and in different lands or whatever, and how them being so widely accessible to us, and how each of them grows in different regions but mean the same thing. So we all have different access to different things that actually provides the same thing. And it
Mm-hmm.
started making me think about how people break off into religions, and how people break off into different cultures, how people break off into different languages, how people break off into different palettes. People. Some people will be like, "Ooh, roaches, crickets," but some people are like, "Ooh, that's a delicacy." Like me, I don't want nothing to do with your snails. Okay, I would eat a cricket before I ate a snail. Yes, I would. But there's so many different things and different ways of looking at things, and we all get so stuck in thinking that our way is the right way. So we shut ourselves off to so much access to things that can benefit us in so many different ways. Just being open alone. We think there's that, like for instance, people take that phrase in the Bible, the straight and narrow, too far, because a lot of times when it comes to alignment, there ain't nothing straight about it. And sometimes when it comes to being connected, it ain't nothing
Yeah.
narrow about it. Sometimes we have to start very broad in our approach in order to narrow it down to what we really need, what we really want, and
Yeah.
what we're really feeling. So what do you think about that, Dr. Sue?
I think that I'm all about energy, and everything is energy for me, and because everything is energy, everything is connected, and I don't. I think that sometimes we put God, source, universe, whatever you want to call the creator, we put the creator in a box. Um, but when I think of creation, I see multiples of things and people and places that serve the same purpose. When you were talking about the spices, there are so many spices that all serve the give. They're different. They're uniquely different, but they're also the same in terms of the impact that they have on the flavor in the dish, in terms of what it looks like aesthetically. And I think people are that same way. God didn't create just He didn't create a duplicate or a double of you, but he did create someone who, through their experiences, through their heritage, through their ancestral connectiveness, will connect with you, because ultimately we all come from the same one,
Yep.
right? We come from the same one. And when you think about that, and you think about it in terms of, not only in terms of flesh, but in terms of energy, if we all come from one, then we all, I mean, how can you not be connected? How can there not be connectivity? Um, a problem, I want to say the problem, but the problem assumes that there's only one problem, and it assumes that I think I know what that problem is, so I'm not going to say a problem is that, because we, and I'll say even I sometimes think that I know best, then I'm not open to other people and their things and their places. But I think that in order for us to, I don't even want to say fix what is wrong with existence. I don't want to say fix what is wrong with the world, but in order for us to change things energetically at the higher consciousness level, we've got to change it here. We got to change it between our ears and in our heart, and we got to connect and have that alignment. And no, it's not all there. It's not a straight line. Not a straight line. I
Yeah.
look back over my life, and my journey to getting here has been up and down, to the left, to the right, jagged. Sometimes knocked down so hard that, man, I didn't know life could hit that hard. But at the same time, sometimes I've been up so high that, wow, look at the view from here. I think that's what makes life delicious. And when you can tap into the flavor of self-love, then you can tap into the flavor of others. And when you can do that, then you can tap into the flavor of what is the only thing that exists for me is love. And love is just pure energy, pure energy. I
Yeah.
don't know if that makes sense at all,
And
but I see it.
no,
I see it.
I completely dig it. I dig it. Yeah, you know, I can get somebody, I can get something out of everything, because it is life is like a buffet. You really just you get what you get depending on who you are and where you are. So, like whenever you're talking about problems, problems only exist when you haven't been able to see exactly what you need to extract out of what's going on.
Yeah.
That's really the only time problems exist. And when we can really realize that we can gain something from anything, that's what you call the juice. Like that movie, it's the juice, because it's possible. It's absolutely possible. Um, Even though a lot of things that people have gathered from information, that from technology, from science, that they use in a corruptive way, it still is very enlightening to me to see how innovative they can be anyway. Even if it's not something I'm ever going to use. Like I was on um, being interviewed by Tracy Randolph on her platform, the Whole Living Network. She's on I think it's E360 TV on Roku, and Fire Stick and all that stuff. She has her own channel there, and she was talking the other day about how there are scientists now that are pulling literal shit from depositories, and they're making meat out of it now.
Wait, say that again.
They are making meat, genetically modified meat out of shit.
As in SHIT?
As in feces, human feces.
That's what I thought you said.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Can,
ma'am.
can you tell
That
me what was it? Wait. Can you tell me what the food is that they're making so I can be sure I don't eat any of that?
meat,
It's
steak,
okay. I don't eat no meat.
yeah,
I eat
yeah.
nothing with a face, so I'm good. I'm good.
And they are they're making the color red so that it looks nice and healthy. They're shaping it like meat and creating everything that you would with the physical eye. If you look at it, it looks exactly like meat is looks in a butcher shop, because they're saying that's just reusing the resources. But
No, no,
the
no,
thing
no,
I was
no.
thinking about is, as we die and we are returned back to the dirt, the things that we eat get nourishment from that same dirt anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
because sometimes things are sped up in a way that's unethical, we frown upon it, we get disgusted by it, and we don't want to be a part of it. Now, granted, I'm not gonna eat it. I'm not gonna eat the doo doo meat. I'm not gonna eat the dookie meat.
Nope,
Okay, but at
nope,
the
nope.
same time, I can extract from that process to really gather that information that reminds me that in any shit I can ever be in, I can create something out of it. It's not quote unquote waste. It's not a waste. Nothing is a waste if you are aligned with your expensive being in order to create something out of whatever you need to create. Angelique
Yeah.
said, "But why shit me? Do we really need
Yeah.
that?" No, we
I,
don't. To answer your
I'm not
question,
doing
no,
that.
we absolutely
I
don't.
am not. Y'all,
Oh
I don't care what you
God.
think. I ain't doing that. I'm just not. That is
Oh
just,
God.
that's disgusting.
Oh. Oh man, oh man. Yeah. That you telling me it is disgusting. Like, I don't know what
Ooh,
happened to just increasing the amount of food that we are producing. And instead of building up so much stuff, just build deep. If you build up, yes, it's going to look expensive, but if you build deep, it will sustain you. Build deep, it'll sustain because that's where the seed grows. That's where the seed is nourished. That's where we are grounded. That's where we can keep our footing. But it's just like people get so caught up in trying to reinvent the wheel that they don't even let the one they have roll. They won't even let it roll around. He said, why not let the earth turn the doo-doo in the dirt that nourishes the plants and the circle of life? I look just like that little emoji you just put on there, my purple shirt. Why not
yep.
just let the circle of life do what it do? I don't.
Ooh,
Your guess is as good as mine, Angelique.
yeah.
I do not know. But
Uh,
man, this is the world that we live in. It's just, we are creative beings. We are amazing beings. We are wise beyond.
but
We are wise beyond our own wisdom.
some things we create don't need to be created.
Make no sense.
That
Definitely don't make no
it's like,
sense.
at what point does creation, being wildly created versus having common sense, when does the common sense come into play? And I'm not, obviously I don't know anything about the science behind turning shit into meat. I have no idea about so I ain't trying to even speak to that. I'm just telling you I'm not eating it, but I don't eat
Turning
meat.
shit into meat.
I don't eat meat anyway, so but that, it seems like that's deep.
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
Yeah.
have we gotten to the point that we have no other resources that we can convert, that we can either create and or convert, that we got to go to the poop in order to
You everybody has had a job at some point, whether it's even if it was just cleaning erasers back in school. We've all had a job to do at some point in time. And in doing those jobs, we always have that person that always want to do too much. Right? That's the one that's creating this meat out of shit. Like
yeah.
just because they had a wild hair and they wanted to prove it was possible. Now that they've proven it's possible, now they're trying to push it as politic, and it is what it is. And people are catching on. It ain't no different than that person cloned that sheep, and we all crazy. We think it was only that one.
Oh no, I never
You know
thought
what I
that.
mean?
Yeah,
And
no.
then, not to mention, same cars with suicide doors. Yeah, it's cool, but is it a necessity? No. But do they think they're cooler when they get them? Yes.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
the function of them? Absolutely nothing. It provides nothing for nothing other than aesthetics. And I think that's the same thing with this meat. We don't want to. We're living in a microwavable society. We want it quick, fast, and in a hurry. But
Yeah.
like I was sharing on the platform with Tracy, this guy, his name was Henry DeFeo. I think it was DeFeo, and he created this wheel, and the wheel had three little sections. And it was, let me see, I might have it in this notebook right here and I can show you. But what it had on it was three sides, and it was See if you can see this.
Uh-huh.
Actually, let me
Uh-huh.
it was, you can either have, there's fast, there's good, and there's cheap. And he put those three on there. He said, and there's no order where you can ever have all three. If
Mm.
you want it fast and good, it won't be cheap. If you want
Mm.
it good and cheap, it won't be fast. And if you want
Mm.
it cheap and fast, it won't be good. And a
Mm.
lot of people get stuck right there. They want it cheap and they want it fast, and we end up with a whole lot of shit. We end up with a whole lot of stuff that is not good. Be mindful of the stress between your eyes. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really stay in the mindfulness of stress, but aligning your eyes, mouth, and hands. Please keep them in sync to avoid showing distress when speaking. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel any stress, so if I'm stressing you out, I apologize. But I'm gonna talk with my hands, and it
I
really
do
doesn't have
too.
anything to do with stress unless I connect with stress, and I don't. I don't really identify with stress, but I completely understand what you're saying, and it is a good tip for those who, if you do feel stressed, that is a good tip to use. Right? True, Angelique. And we have to get into a situation to where we have to let people be themselves. We have to let people just do what they do. And if people want to be out there and create meat out of shit, I say go for it. I'm just not gonna buy it. But I also, another thing I don't buy, Mallow Mars. Ain't nothing that bad about Mallow Mars, right? But I don't want it. But I don't know, let it come into an alignment with my experience because it doesn't have anything to do with me. And if it doesn't apply to me, I just let it lay where it is and stay where it is, and I allow
Yeah.
whoever it does apply to utilize it and use it, because there are going to be some people out there that want meat so bad and at a cheaper price that they're willing to eat shit. There was the people out there eating the Tide
Ooh.
Pods. Remember that? Remember when people eating the detergent things? You don't remember that? People were
Girl, you're
actually
taking me somewhere tonight. You're taking me
eating.
somewhere. It's like,
Listen,
oh my
people was out
goodness.
there eating. I mean, it's no different than heroin. Heroin don't speak to me either. You know, I used to smoke cigarettes. Cigarettes absolutely disgust some people. And in some situations, even when I was a smoker, it would disgust me as well. But at the same time, everything ain't for everybody, and
Yeah.
everything doesn't have to be held in our energetic field as part of our experience in order for it to be what we classify as right or what we classify as wrong. Because at the end of the day, the bottom line is, if it doesn't resonate with you, it's not for you. And
Yeah.
if it does resonate with you and it's not something you want to resonate with you, then it's something that you need to go inside, go inward with, to dissect what it's attached to inside of you, that at some point you felt like it was necessary for you. Because I believe that a lot of times, when these habits and things that we hold, they did serve us in a
Oh,
positive
sure.
way to get through certain points in our lives. But when it no longer serves you and that incident is over, then we have to let go of the things that got us through that period. But a
Yeah.
lot of times we get stuck in that habitual, in that habit of wanting or needing or something like that. Sending love and light, beautiful strength, and abundance your way. Mwah, as I watch
Yeah.
and radiate these qualities. Absolutely, sis. And Angelique said, that's a great point. It won't make it into the experience if it's not what you desire to experience. But some people are open to it, yes. And that's the thing though. When you are open to anything, not only can anything come, but if it doesn't resonate, the main way to get it to leave is also to remain open. It's
Mhm.
not to push it away. It's not to say, "Oh no, 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 no." That's because now you're giving attention to it. It's
Mhm.
like this. When something comes that don't resonate with you, it's like this. Michael Singer makes a really good point. He says, if you're driving down the road and you see a blue car and a blue car passes you, you don't think shit about that blue car. But
No.
let that blue car have somebody in it that reminds you of something, then you're like, But any other day, that blue car
Yeah.
don't remind you of nothing. It doesn't even capture your attention long enough to you remember that it was even a part of your experience. But a lot of times we hold on to things because it touches something that's inside of us. It's not the thing.
Yeah.
It's what you have stored inside of you that you've labeled as something that's supposed to matter. And everything doesn't have to matter.
You said
Everything
a
does not
mouthful.
have to matter.
No, that's a mouthful. And I was talking to a friend a couple of days ago and having a very similar conversation. And one of the things that I said is her position was that because I have these words that I need to say, I need to say them.
Yeah.
And my position was, yeah, I used to be that girl. I did. And I think I may have said that on this program before, that I thought as a young person, I thought if I'm big enough to think it, I'm big enough to say it. But what I've learned is that, as you say, when you give energy to stuff, you just create more of it, right?
Yeah. You do.
And so many times, the if it is not for you, if it doesn't resonate with you, just let it go. Let it go. You don't have to
Yeah.
address it, because addressing it is like putting your hooks into it and holding on to it.
Yes, it is.
If
Yes,
you
it
just
is.
allow it to move, continue to move, it will move beyond you. And even if you're having a quote unquote conflict, whatever that means to you, even if you're having a conflict with someone else, if you just let it flow, a person can't fight by themselves. A person can't argue by themselves. There's so many things that the only response that you really need to make is just one of silence. Just
Yeah.
let it flow. It flows all
Silence
around.
goes a long
It's like
way.
it's coming at you, and it just makes way and goes around you and right on past you. And
Mhm.
then just smile, because when you're smiling, you're putting love energy out there, and you're giving some to the thing and or the person and or the place that really needs it. So if we're here to serve, remember, service really comes from a place of love, not from a place of I want to, I got to, I have to, not from a place of what used to be or what they said or what I think. It's just opening your heart up and allowing the love to flow and out, in and out.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And I will say that, touching back to what Angelique was saying earlier about being of service, she was saying how she's been doing volunteer work and building her knowledge. And as different opportunities come up, that's what you begin to align with, and when you align yourself with volunteer work, it comes up for you. When you align yourself with stressful situations come to you. When you align yourself up with lack, different opportunities for you that
Yeah.
knowledge lack shows up for you. And you have to align yourself energetically and mindfully to the things that you want to see multiplied in your life. And you can test that. You can test that in any way you want to. How many times do you think of a friend and you've been thinking about them and all of a sudden, girl, I was just thinking about you and you don't call me. Or you didn't text me.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
started that pull, you started that the law of attraction, you
Yeah.
started that into motion. That's what, one of the things I tell people in business and in coaching. When you reach out to a coach because you want to get better at your messaging and you want to expand your love and you want to offer your services so that you can be a light, it's such a beautiful process. But when people come to you because they ain't making enough money, because they ain't got enough clients, they've already started from a place of lack. And
Yeah.
one of the first things as a coach, and I will tell this to any coach out there, the first thing you need to do is interrupt that momentum that they have going down the wrong road.
Yeah.
That's when you need people. You need to sign them up for the longest package you got.
And I
I'm
can
not kidding.
attest to that. I tell my business, that was me when I first started. That was me. And it is changing your mindset, having an awareness that that's where you're coming from, because so often you're just focused on this is what I need to have in order to survive. This is what I need to
Yeah.
have, for whatever reason that's external. But it's not until, for me, not until I just said, okay, God, I'm going to let you handle this. I'm just doing what I love. If this is what you want me to do and you say it is, then I know you're going to provide and it's going to be all
Oh
right.
yeah.
And I've
Mhm.
had those periods where I'd say, God, I need 2 or 3 clients. I get 2 or 3 clients. And then I'd have those periods where I said, oh, I need some money. I got to pay this. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't get no clients, y'all.
Yeah.
So
If you say I don't know how I'm gonna do it, you guess what? You ain't gonna know
that's
how
what
you're
you're
gonna do
putting
it.
out there.
You ain't
That's
gonna know
what
how
you're
you're
putting
gonna
out
do
there.
it. Yeah.
So being mindful of who you're being and how you're being and where you're being and where your being is
Yeah.
fully present
Yeah.
to what the energy that you're putting out there and serving from the heart, not from the head, but from the heart.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's funny because like, as everybody knows, I've been expanding my coaching, my video editing and all and this, that, and the other. And I just came into the realization, I'm like, I need to, well, I didn't even need to, like, because I mean, I am beyond taken care of. Like, I have an absolutely amazing best friend who opened her home to me so that I could get my shit together and just get back on track with my life. So, I mean, I'm wanting for nothing. That's not the point. But, again, when you are in these spaces of when you want to be of service, it's almost like sitting on cinder blocks with your wheels spinning when people aren't coming and you're not being able to give what you need to give. But, when I felt this more so of a releasing of needing something. I'm like, one day I sat down and literally I had a piece of paper and I was just like, what is it that you have lacked and since you moved here? Blank piece of paper. Completely blank. So why are you worried?
Yeah.
And I dare anyone to do that. What have you lacked in the past month? I guarantee you'll be very surprised of how little you can think of. You ate, you slept, you washed, you talked, you laughed, you had companionship, you watched a little TV, you went here, you did that, went to a party, you went, and those are bonuses because there ain't nothing you need anyway.
Yeah.
It's very little that we lack if you really think about it. And even those things, a lot of times that we have on the list that we lack are not even things we need. So just be grateful. Stay in that state of gratefulness and just be happy on purpose. I promise you, it will change your life. It will change your life. Anytime anything bad happens, I guarantee just you know what? This doesn't change the fact that this right here exists if I choose to be happy about this. It doesn't make this go away. But just like Dr. Sue said today, even though she had a day where she had things to do, if she wasn't doing them, why spend her free time thinking about the fact that she wasn't doing them?
Because she still
Why
wasn't
did
doing it.
because she still ain't doing them. She still ain't doing them. Just to come to a resolve that I am here and this is what I'm doing right now. And I'm going to enjoy my time while I'm right
Yeah.
here. I'm right here. I don't have to change anything to be happy.
Yeah.
What a big price to pay for life. To choose to be happy. That's a price I'm willing to for it out anytime. I give it. I'll pay it. I'll pay your part.
Thank you. As
Five
long
on
as I
it.
get to live it, you can pay
Yeah,
for it as long as I
I
get to
got
live it.
five on it. I got five on it. Oh yeah. So this has been a blessing. Thank you, Angelique and Teresa and anyone else who came through and thank you for engaging in the conversation tonight. Absolutely amazing. If there's ever any topics y'all want to talk about, hit us up in our inbox. So post it in the comments so we'll have something on deck for next week. We'd love to. We keep saying we're gonna take this offline and we keep showing up. But there are things in the works that we gonna get together. So but yeah, if there's any topics y'all wanna talk about it, anything, please let us know. You have a beautiful night too, Queen. We love you so
Hi,
much.
Angelique.
We love you so much. And we'll be back next week. What's your final words, Dr. Sue?
So while you were talking at some point, I wrote name it, claim it, rename it, and change it. So whatever is going on in your life, in your world, if it's not something that you feel that you resonate with, that is in alignment with the you that you want to be, that the you that's in your heart, your spirit, that you know you are here to be, name it. That requires you to have an awareness of it. Now, the problem with the claim it is that claiming is what you got, what got you here. So what we're going to do then is rename it, which requires you to visualize who you want to be. Look next week, next year, who is the me that I want to be? Now bring that vision closer so that you can change the name that you had and give yourself a new name. Because you know what? We can change every day. And more than change, we can actually transform. Change can be temporary. Transformation can be permanent. But you get to choose. It's all about the decisions. Stay in alignment. Stay in
It
alignment.
absolutely is. It absolutely is. So, what an amazing night. What an amazing topic. Stay aligned with who you truly are, who you be, and realize that even those of us that are in a place of service and being of service, we are the servicer, but we also need to be serviced. So take care of yourself. Love on yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with loving on other people. Ain't nothing wrong with being of service, but we have to sometimes pull off and recalibrate ourselves to the source that we came from. We got to refuel. We got to do the tire change, balance and rotate all tires. That's what Ludacris say. Balance and rotate all tires.
All
Okay?
right. And if we got any cooks out there in the audience and y'all want to cook up something nice, drop a comment out there and I'll send you my address. You can put it on dry. But I don't eat nothing with a taste. I don't eat no meat, and I ain't eating that stuff that they creating in the lab.
You ain't gonna eat no nookie meat.
That
is so funny. Y'all have to look that up. Y'all have got to look that up because that shit's so funny.
Good night, y'all.
Good night. We're gonna see y'all later. Have a good evening.
You know, as I was thinking about what we are doing, it really is an opportunity for people to connect with their beingness. We are not conscious of the compartmentalization. We just say, this is who I am, right? Who you are is different depending on the environment that you find yourself in or the people that you find yourself connected with. So I hold myself out as an example. You know, at 71 years old, it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey to self-acceptance. And I think it may be that way for many of us, that we look at the pieces of ourselves and decide, I can show that. No, I can't show that. Is there a danger? How deep is the danger if I show you all of me? Oh, I can show these people this part of me, and these people this part of me, and these people this part of me. And then the question is, how long before you get tired of just compartmentalizing your beingness